everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Gorilla Whale, the Godzilla Watch-Along podcast. I am your kaiju consultant, Kevin Carpenter.
And I am wondering what the heck is going on, Kayla Knutson.
Oh boy, howdy, you're going to be having that feeling for the next few episodes of our podcast, and the next few episodes of the anime series we are watching, Godzilla Singular Point. So, this is an anime series that was released on Netflix. There are 13 episodes of this series, and so instead of doing 13 episodes all in one episode, because that would suck to summarize, we are going to be splitting up our episodes. Well, actually, 13 episodes isn't a clean break either. So the plan is, this episode, we are going to be covering episodes 1 through 3. The next one, 4 through 6. The next one, 7 through 9. And then 4 episodes in one with 10 through 13. Everyone got it? Everyone got it?
Yeah, so the next 4 episodes of the podcast will be covering Godzilla Singular Point.
Correct. And when we've done Godzilla TV shows in the past, we usually just did the pilots because they were episodic.
I was not
TV
watching
shows.
20 episodes of the Fox cartoon. Absolutely. Listen, this is no shade to the Fox cartoon, but I don't have the fucking time.
But the thing is that Singular Point, this is the age of the Netflix miniseries, which means it's pretty much one storyline through the whole season.
Also, anime is no stranger to a 13 episode or a 26 episode, like, singular series. I mean, Cowboy Bebop was one season.
True, but also Cowboy Bebop was much more episodic.
Cowboy Bebop was really good, too.
Of course, Cowboy Bebop was a classic, a masterpiece. We don't need to talk about Cowboy Bebop while we're talking about Godzilla Singular Point.
This made me want to watch a good anime. I was sitting here watching this anime, like, maybe I should just rewatch Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Okay, not all anime is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
That's why I stopped watching anime for years. Okay, I'm not even kidding. Because I read the manga too. I was catching Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood as it was coming out on Toonami. And I was into Full Metal Alchemist before Full Metal Alchemist ended. So I was reading the last several chapters on Scanlations online, like waiting for my beloved Japanese-speaking, English-speaking, like bilingual fans to do the transcriptions, and then I would get and they would do it really quickly too. And the thing is that Full Metal Alchemist was so good that after that, when I tried to watch other anime or read other manga, I was just constantly disappointed that it couldn't live up to Full Metal Alchemist. And it took several years before I started back in on anime and manga. Do not start giving me recommendations. I have mine, thank you.
Give Kayla recommendations in the comments. Do it.
I'm not watching fucking One Piece. It's too long. I tried in high school when it was only like 500 episodes, and now it's a bajillion. We're not doing it. I do watch One Piece Netflix. That's the best you're gonna get.
Have you seen Gurren Lagann?
What?
Gurren Lagann.
No.
You should watch Gurren Lagann.
What, should I?
Yeah. It's a giant robot anime. It's pretty good.
I don't know that I really, I don't know. I don't know. I'm beginning to think Pacific Rim is an outlier for me when it comes to robot media, mech media.
But the tendency of you watching something really good and then you are spoiled on everything that doesn't reach those heights, does that have any parallels toward our current media watching experiment?
There are... I've said it before and I'll say it again. There's like 5 good Godzilla movies. Pieces of media. I hope Monarch is good. I hear Monarch is good. If I have to watch another... we're going to watch Monarch, guys, and hopefully it's good.
I've heard good things.
If not, the Russells are there at least.
The Russells. I am curious. What were the 5 good Godzilla movies off the top of your head?
Godzilla -1.
Okay.
Shin Godzilla. Godzilla 1954. Godzilla vs. Mothra, Godzilla vs. King Kong. Mothra vs. Godzilla, King Kong vs. Godzilla. I always get it wrong.
It is very important which one gets the top billing because those are different movies.
Honorable mention to Biollante.
I love that, actually. I'm so... Oh, by the way, while we're recording this, so we're recording this middle of April. So the Godzilla -0 teaser just recently came out.
I haven't watched it.
You haven't watched it yet?
I want to see it on a movie screen.
But you haven't seen the teaser?
No.
Oh my god.
I'm wondering if I might try and avoid everything.
I mean, good luck to you. I'll just tell you this much. Godzilla got big.
I'm either going to, I think I'm going to try and avoid as much of it as possible because I went into -1 with like nothing. Like I didn't watch a trailer going into -1. And so much of this podcast is me going in with very little information. So I do kind of actually want to like, I mean, I saw some GIFs on Tumblr that I reblog to our Tumblr, but I might try and avoid it unless I see it organically in theaters.
I've been getting deep into the conspiracy theories. I've been the other way around. The teaser was released, and immediately everyone on the Godzilla subreddit is like, "Oh, are they going to try to bring back like Bagan or like Super Godzilla?"
Don't tell me. I just told you I want to go in blind.
Well, we're not going to go into this one blind, folks. For Godzilla Singular Point.
I did go into it blind, and then now we're going to tell you our reactions.
Yes, but for this podcast, I'm going to give you the historical context. So, Shin Godzilla took Godzilla in a different direction, as you may have heard in our episode on Shin Godzilla, and it was a huge success. It kickstarted Godzilla Reiwa era. Toho was like, all right, we need to pump out more of that Godzilla, baby. We're gonna pump the brakes a little bit. We're not gonna do a Godzilla every year, but we are gonna do a bunch of different Godzilla projects going in a bunch of different directions. And so the Toho mandate now is that let's keep doing different things with Godzilla. We're not gonna be Millennium, where everything's gotta be bog standard Godzilla, like we're playing the Godzilla hits. No, every Godzilla has to do something different with it. So Toho producer Takashi Yoshizawa, who also produced the Godzilla anime trilogy, not a great start, recruits director Atsushi Takahashi after watching his film Doraemon the Movie 2017, Great Adventure in the Antarctic Kachikochi.
I feel like I tracked the movies better than I tracked this. I don't know what. Keep going. I don't know. Keep going.
So director Takahashi wanted to emphasize individuals fighting Godzilla with their minds rather than military organizations with advanced weaponry, at least according to an interview in Asahi Shimbun digital magazine. By the way, a lot of the sources I am using are originally in Japanese that I ran through Google Translate, or I found quotes from like other wikis that were like, they said this in this interview, but the link is to an interview entirely in Japanese. So if I'm doing quotes, just know I'm doing my best.
We don't have a Japanese speaking resource available to us easily and timely. So
Toho Enjo is brought in to write. He is a speculative fiction writer, but he also wrote some scripts for the anime series Space Dandy. And he's very weird sci-fi, speculative fiction. He's brought on to supervise the sci-fi elements, and then later he becomes the primary writer because he becomes so entrenched, it just makes more sense for him to kind of take the lead. And so this leads Godzilla Singular Point to have a lot of weird sci-fi elements. And the relationship, from what I gathered in these interviews, is that Toho Enjo brings in all like the out there concepts, and then director Takahashi is like, okay, but we do need like a robot fighting a monster. Like, this can't just be us talking about time traveling photons.
The amount of time that they spend talking about, I don't know if it's metaphysics, quantum physics, regular physics. It's so boring.
This is one of those series where there's so many different characters having their different storylines, and all of them keep bringing up like poetry or scientific concepts or MD5 hash codes and stuff like that, and you're truly just along for the ride. They also don't, like, at least Shin Godzilla, when a character shows up for 5 seconds, they have a little name card with their like occupation. They don't even do that in this series.
No.
Summarizing this series sucked for me.
They also don't have a ton of like personality. Once again, just like the other anime trilogy. They have some very like.
They have better character designs.
The girl is a nerd. And then there's the boy nerd, who is more stoic. And then there's the jock. And then there's the crazy old man. And then there's the fucking AI who reminds me of Count Olaf. And I hate her because she's annoying.
We'll get into that. I will say also, Toho Enjo, in another interview with Asahi Shimbun digital magazine, he said, quote, Google Translate quote, even now that I wrote the script, I still wonder what Godzilla is, end quote. Basically, he's going into this trying to downplay having a message as much as possible. He wants to interact with all of these different concepts, but he also doesn't want to make Godzilla a direct metaphor. Like he's very much like, I want Godzilla to be a singularity that cannot be explained.
Oh,
And
so this is why it didn't make any sense.
yeah, he's like, I don't want to force a theme.
Oh my god! Guys, guys. What? I'm gonna write about something, but I have no clear vision on what it is.
I think, like I said, this is all stuff that I'm translating or like direct quotes from other people that
Yeah, so it
translated
may
and then
not
put it in a
be
wiki and cited the
yeah.
interview.
It may not. There could be shit lost in translation.
But from what I'm gathering, there is an emphasis on, and this shows in the TV show, of Godzilla being something that is unfathomable. It's very Lovecraft light in that Godzilla is this great force coming, and all of these different smart people across the world are doing their damnedest to apply a single bit of sense to it as this great calamity is coming down on them. And yeah, it does show through the series when all this different weird stuff is happening and everyone's grasping for straws on what's going on.
I think maybe I would be more okay with it if it felt like more was happening. Because it feels like, and here's another weird thing, and there's no answers. And here's another weird thing, and there's no answers. And it feels like we're not really progressing through the story. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like the pacing, I was like, where are we? Because the pacing to me felt off because it just felt like constant setup, break for a mech fight, setup. You know, because they're like, something is coming.
For me, I'm fine with the sequence of events because as I was planning how are we going to split these episodes up into our own episodes, it was like, all right, 1 through 3 is the Rodan problem. 4 through 6 is the Anguirus problem. And then it's like cutting those, like we have singular problems in each 3-point episode setup, but at the same time, there is that running thing of, oh, things are getting worse on a global level, though there is still these greater sense of weird, calamitous stuff happening that we're having trouble explaining.
Yeah.
And you're right. The rhythm of it is we have action, and then we cut to like 3 different people and 3 different storylines, all on different parts of the globe, looking at different esoteric things. One person is trying to figure out how photons travel through time, and listening to a poem by William Blake allows her to. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself because that's in our next episode.
The next episode.
Anyway, so animation studio Bones and Orange partner up for the animation.
Now,
Bones does the hand-drawn animation.
Yeah.
Orange does the 3D.
You know what else Bones did?
Ouran High School Host Club.
Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Oh yeah, that too.
But Ouran is also dope.
No, Bones is a big animation studio.
Bones is great.
And I'll say this, the animation looks great.
It looks great.
Usually it looks very weird when you mix 2D and 3D, and I know that's a wider thing in anime, especially these days, but Bones doing the 2D animation for all like the human characters and the environments is really cool, and the monsters also look really cool by Orange.
Yeah.
There's not too much of that uncanniness between them interacting, but at the same time, like we said, the whole point of this is that the monsters are an alien force and they're hard to explain. So the fact that they look a little different than the world they're inhabiting also makes sense.
Yeah. I have no qualms with the animation or the designs for the monsters or the characters. I think that was all good.
Kazue Kato, the mangaka for Blue Exorcist, he designs the characters. And Eiji Yamamori, who is a former animator for Studio Ghibli, he designs the monsters. Cool. Fun fact, Yamamori also dedicated his work on this series to his late brother.
Aww.
Just a little thing I found. So yeah, this series looks good.
Mm-hmm.
It certainly looks a lot better than the anime trilogy.
Yes.
It doesn't seem like they ran out of fucking budget.
Yeah, no. It looks good.
Yeah.
It looks really good.
So on March 25th, 2021, the series debuts on Netflix Japan, and on June 24th, 2021, the series debuts globally. So, yeah, that's me front loading a bunch of historical context and the cast and crew and all that stuff. Because as I said, the next few episodes are going to be focused on Godzilla Singular Point. So it's going to be the same story.
Yeah.
So the next episodes will just go right into the plot.
Okay, Kevin, make this make sense because I did have a difficult time tracking.
I did my best.
Okay, I'm glad. I was a little bit worried that I was crazy.
So part of it is like I endeavor to write my own summaries for this, and I am looking over like Gojipedia, Wikizilla, Wikipedia, especially during our Showa period when summaries on Wikipedia would just be wrong.
Mm-hmm. Have you changed these?
What?
Did you correct them? Like
For-
the Showa
What?
wikis?
No, I have not actually. I didn't get around to it.
I
should,
feel like
though.
you should.
I probably should. But I'm trying, this is me going over what I saw to put the details in my head. And this is also me curating the details that I believe are important to talk about. The issue with this series is that the main rhythm is all these different characters talking about all these different scientific concepts, trying to make sense of a calamity befalling their world. And so everything is kind of important.
Exactly. Like it's hard to, it's really, so there is a, like when, so for example, I'm sure everybody listening to this podcast has watched a Michael Bay film.
Yeah.
And you know that experience, you're watching it and it's visually, you're like, whoa, holy shit, oh my God, you know, and it's kind of overstimulating. And you get to the end of the movie, and sometimes you might be like, wait, what happened exactly? Because the way that Michael Bay, who was a commercial director, writes, or he shoots his features just like he shoots his commercials. But like a minute of insane visuals is one thing, and an hour and a half or 2 hours or 2.5 hours of everything being shot like it's the hero shot and the most cinematic shot in the entire movie is visually overwhelming and overstimulating. And it's difficult to really flag to the audience of like, this is what's really important when every single shot is conveying, this is incredibly important.
Mm-hmm.
And then you don't actually know. And yes, of course, everything that's in the movie is like important. Like I don't believe necessarily in like wasted space, but the way that things are shot conveyed to the audience, the things that are, some things are given greater weight than others. And when everything is given a massive amount of weight, you get to the end of it and you're like, I don't even know if I know what happened actually. Like, because you were so overstimulated trying to process so much information that your brain just couldn't keep up, even if it's something as relatively simple as a Michael Bay movie. That's not a slam, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love movies that have simple plots. I wish this one was a little simpler because it was so full of so many details from so many different literature and poetry and physics and biology, and, you know, and I get that they're trying to understand the eldritch horror that is the kaiju here. But it was hard to track, like, wait, what am I supposed to follow? What am I supposed to remember? What am I supposed to pay attention to? What matters?
Mm-hmm. And it's easier to follow along with it visually because when a character shows up, it's like, oh, hey, it's that character from earlier. But with me trying to summarize it, there were parts where I'm like, oh, was this character's like name ever said? And there's a few characters who it's like, no one ever refers to them by name in dialogue.
Good, because I was like, I'm going insane. Like, I don't know who this character is, and they keep popping up. Was I not paying attention to their name? I was trying to track something else. Good. I'm glad to realize that they were not saying names. They weren't.
And like I was saying, the character design holds a lot of this series because you know you may not catch who these people are or their exact details of how they relate, but you remember what they look like because everyone has a strong visual identity.
Yeah, very strong visual identity.
But that's hard for me doing an audio podcast trying to summarize everything.
Yeah, and it's that voice was hilarious that you just did. Two, I also felt like their personalities, because they were talking so much about all these esoteric details, like it feels like who these characters are really does get watered down and lost.
There's little room for personality when every character is either investigating or expositing.
Yeah, it's a lot of exposition.
Yeah. So let's get into it. Episodes 1 through 3. Real quick, by the way, every episode title in this miniseries is a single word with 8 letters, and we'll go over why that is in the final episode. I feel like Kayla's reaction is going to be that stupid, but we'll get into it.
I'm predictable.
But episode 1 is Terzetto, which is a musical composition for 3 voices. I imagine to kind of foreshadow that this is the kind of story where there's a bunch of different protagonists going around. Episode 2 is Gamesome, which means merry or frolicsome. There's a festival going on. And episode 3 is Tigerish, which is showy, of or relating to tigers. And I feel like this is where they start stretching it because, as I said, they have a design in mind where every episode needs to have 8 letters, but also the original thing was in Japanese. So this is a translation thing to English where it's like everything has to have 8 letters and certain letters have to be in certain places. Like I said, we'll get into it.
And honestly, that was something I was thinking about with some of these concepts. Like,
well,
I watched the dub.
Yeah.
But even if you watch the sub,
which I did.
I wonder, things can still get lost in translation.
Yeah.
The English words that they could choose for these Japanese, like to use a Japanese word, might not land or whatever.
I'm wondering if anything comes up with like, oh, this happens. And you're like, actually, in the dub, they said this.
We'll see.
We'll see.
I tried to put on the subtitles too, because I was wondering if I was having issues, like, because sometimes I need the subtitles to help me track, especially if there's a lot of complicated things going on. And I was like, am I getting lost because I'm also not reading? Like, am I not, like, clocking in enough? Do I need to read as well as listen? And then I turned on the subtitles, and they were not subtitles for the English dub. They were totally different, and I was like, never mind, fuck this.
So it's the year 2030 in the city of Nagashio, Japan. A festival is taking place as people launch drones shaped like paper lanterns into the sky because it's the near future.
Just launch paper lanterns.
Well, no, see, that's the visual cue that this is a little bit into the future.
I guess so.
I like that little detail.
I guess the drones are reusable. The paper lanterns aren't. Okay.
One thing I do like the little details of this is a little bit into the future throughout this series.
Yeah.
There's a few that I'll bring up as we go through
The
them.
AI being a big one.
The AI, robotics is more. One of the characters has a laptop with like thousands of terabytes in storage. Like no external hard drives. It's on the laptop.
Do you really think that we could get thousands of terabytes in external storage by 2030?
No. God, no.
Okay. Mine's got 2, so.
Yeah, I've worked with external hard drives that range from like 2 to 5. We meet 2 employees of the robotics company Otaki Factory. One is Yoon Arikawa. He's a white-haired intellectual who is very logical, low emotion, but he's also very brave and kind of a bit dumb when it comes to his own survival. And the other is Haberu Kato, whose nickname is Barbell because he likes to work out. And every third time we cut over to him, he is either lifting a dumbbell or he is doing pull-ups. He's jacked.
He's getting gains.
He's getting gains.
He stays on that grind.
By the way, I've usually made it a point to refer to people by their last names because a lot of this is Japanese media, but because this series has a lot of characters who are across the world, and also like almost all of the materials I found referred to these characters by their first names, I'm just going to refer to first names across the board. So it's going to be Yoon and Haberu. And everyone else is going to be their first names as well, just to set that. So this duo is sent out to a house that people believe is haunted due to flickering lights and strange voices. And as they investigate, Yoon deduces the house was abandoned 50 years ago. He finds bookshelves full of all these different topics, which is foreshadowing how much stuff is going to be in this series. And then he uncovers a secret room behind a bookshelf. And inside is an empty fish tank, just like the original Godzilla, and a crystal-powered radio playing an eerie song.
Is that a real thing?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yoon records the song just as the lights flicker and the duo hear a monstrous roar outside. We cut over to May Camino, graduate student and researcher of non-existent creatures.
She's like a cryptozoologist, but add like physics or something.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
It's like the way she describes it later in the series is like, I research butterflies that could travel through time. Not that we actually believe they exist, but like, wouldn't that be messed up?
See, that's what kills me. I'm like, can you have a real major? Can you study real things? Like, she could have been a xenobiologist. That's a real thing. That's the thing. That's my problem with this anime is it kept being like, well, that's not real and it doesn't exist and it's impossible. And then it would be like, JK, that's happening constantly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like it wasn't like we don't understand, like, this is something that science suggests might be possible, but we don't really have enough understanding of physics. It's more of like, well, that's not real. Like, the way that they would say it would be like, I study unicorns. But unicorns aren't real.
Well, but the way they phrase it, she also has a lot of...
And this could be a translation thing.
This could be a translation thing, but she also has a lot of knowledge on, like, theoretical stuff as well. So I think there is also supposed to be she locks on to a non-existent creature and then tries to research how that creature could exist, or she finds a mythological creature and she tries to find out why this was made in legend or what its connections could be to the real world. Like, I think it's probably more than just, wow, what if butterflies could travel through time? Here's my masters. But at the same time, it's not sold well.
No,
I don't think, in the series.
And that could be some, I don't know, it could be translation things. I don't know.
By the way, speaking of studying non-existent creatures, I do want to give a quick shout out to Gorilla Well fan Beth Bradlaugh. She contacted us. I had a conversation with her, had a great time. She is a graduate student at my alma mater, Indiana University. She is writing her master's on Godzilla. She hosted a Godzilla film festival, got the mayor to declare June 27th, 2025 Godzilla Day. She is now hosting a Mothra film festival, and June 12th, 2026 is now declared Mothra Day. Just wanted to give a quick shout out to her because that's just awesome.
Shout out, Beth. Get that degree.
So back to our other Godzilla graduate student, May. May has messy purple hair. She has a front-facing ponytail, casual clothes, oversized glasses, and a cute kaiju camera and backpack. Once again, her design's great.
Yeah, she's quirky.
She's waiting for the bus, and she takes a picture of an ancient painting with pterodactyl Tengu and a giant sea creature named Gojira. Hope that isn't relevant. So May arrives at Misakyoku Radio Observatory, where she meets Director Tsunetomo and Chief of Staff Shunya Sato. May was sent here in place of her professor, who is busy, and she is here to investigate a strange alarm that is playing at the observatory. No one at the observatory knows what it means. They're going off of, like, very old instructions, and
everything is cryptic.
Everything is cryptic. No one. We're already starting with weird stuff is happening, and no one knows why. And it is responding to the same song that Yoon recorded at the creepy house. So speaking of Yoon, him and Haberu are driving around on their moped with Ghostbuster-style radio trackers, trying to source a strange signal from the creature they heard earlier, because they have a theory that a flying creature is emitting radio waves.
Sure.
Sure.
Again, there's a lot that it's being thrown at us in the first 10 minutes.
They're led to the same observatory. May finds out that a Taki factory installed cables there 5 years ago, so she calls them for info right as they're about to climb the fence and trespass. And so there's this moment where Yoon is like, oh shit, they're calling us because they know we're trespassing. And it's like, no, actually, this is just a complete coincidence. I'm calling you at exactly this time. And Yoon's like, oh, hey, cool. And then the police show up, they're led off the premises, and no one can explain anything to each other.
Ugh. Also frustrating.
So later on, May looks up Otaki Factory and sees Yoon's bio on the website, along with a download link to an AI assistant that Yoon programmed. Now, this series came out in 2021, when an AI assistant wasn't incredibly overplayed. So May downloads it and allows this program to go through all of her files and change stuff without prompt. And the entire time I'm screaming at the screen, you've downloaded a virus. What are you doing?
I'm like, you've allowed Evil Grok access to all of your data.
Right?
It was.
But it's okay because the AI assistant turns into a cute cartoon dog that she names Pelops too.
I would simply never. Somebody's like, here's a free AI that you can download on my website. I'm like, that's a fucking virus.
Yeah, this is I have
I
to
lived through the LimeWire.
I have to talk about this real quick because this is an AI assistant that Yoon has created, and he is allowing a free download off of the bio off of his company's Squarespace website. And it is an incredibly powerful AI assistant that later on in the series will be able to hack security cameras and remote control robots.
It's presented to us as essentially sentient.
Yes. And it constantly does stuff without user permission. Like there's also another moment where the AI Pelops 2 is like, hey, I took all of your research and I co-wrote a research paper.
Yeah.
And then I sent it to other people and I did not tell you about any step of this process.
Which is crazy.
And this is something that's on a publicly available website that she downloaded while she was in the car.
And they never talk about it because it's 2030 and it's the future.
Yeah. But also this will be a very established dynamic for May. Like one of her big strengths in the series is that she has this powerful AI assistant, but it's not one that she made.
Yeah.
It's one that Yoon made. And so it kind of makes her character less interesting.
Yeah.
It's a very weird setup.
I would have preferred if she. I feel like since her job is so much about looking into things that are not real and what would it require for it to be real, etc., that sounds like the sort of thing that analytical AI would be helpful at. And so I think it would be more interesting if she had created an analytical AI that, I mean, maybe they both had two different AIs and then it combined into one AI.
Yeah.
Which I think is what happened in Neuromancer.
Did you finally finish that book?
Oh, yeah, I finished it a little while ago. It was good. It's
Great.
always good to read books that make you feel a little stupid.
Well, we'll talk about it in our next podcast, Cyberdunk. That's not an official announcement. That was a joke.
Speaking of books that make you feel stupid, I am now reading Frankenstein, which is arguably another AI book. The intro that for the version that I have multiple copies of Frankenstein. And the intro for the version I have posits that Frankenstein is one of the original AI novels. I don't know that I fully buy into that concept. But I understand why they would draw the connection between our crisis over AI now and what Mary Shelley is positing about technology and science in Frankenstein. It's not unrelated.
So Yoon and Haberu, God, I hope I'm saying his name right. Should I just call him Barbell?
Yeah,
okay.
That's what they call him.
So Yoon and Barbell are being questioned by the police for trespassing. And then their boss, Goro Otaki, likely named after Goro Ibuki from Godzilla vs. Megalon for reasons that will become very apparent later, secures their release. So Goro is a small old man. He's got like two big toothy incisors coming out of his mouth. He's balding and like gray hair poofing out on the sides of his head. Like he's a lot more cartoonish than the rest of the characters in the show.
He sticks out a little bit, but we'll allow it.
So Goro gets them out of the police station because he needs these boys to build his mecha to save the world from UFOs. And that mecha is Jet Jaguar. Yeah!
Sure.
Jet Jaguar's back.
Jet Jaguar's back.
Jet Jaguar has returned. So the Otaki Factory boys showcase Jet Jaguar at a festival. So, and by the way, Jet Jaguar is not like a full giant robot, nor is he human-sized. In this series, he is about the size...
He's like 15 feet tall. He basically looks like... Y'all remember Aliens 2? Well, I say Aliens 2. Y'all remember Aliens?
Yeah.
Or Avatar? Those like mech suits that they... Those like smaller, more realistic mech suits? It's like that.
Exactly.
I mean, we have those... There are companies that are developing mech suits like that. They're just not.
And so there's an open cockpit in the chest that Goro can climb inside and control the robot. So that's the kind of Jet Jaguar that we're dealing with. So they're at this festival showcasing Jet Jaguar, and then a strange red pterodactyl creature flies down, destroys a radio antenna, crashes into a neon sign, and then lands on the ground next to some children. Uh-oh. Meanwhile, Shunya, the nondescript guy from the observatory we met earlier, finds out the signal at the observatory is coming from the basement. So director Tsunetomo takes him down there and reveals the basement was once a military black site, and inside are the bones of a giant dinosaur. The Godzilla theme plays. Episode 2.
That's episode 1.
That's episode 1. Episode 2. So the pterodactyl creature, Rodan, it doesn't get named later, but it's Rodan.
It's Rodan.
Attacks the festival. So the Rodan design, by the way, so the pterodactyl is about the size of like a regular pterodactyl, like around the same size as Jet Jaguar. It is a very colorful mix of like red and violet hues, and it opens its beak mouth and it is lined with teeth like a goose.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
Actually, wait, the geese beaks don't have teeth on the beak, but they have teeth on their tongues. So
it's there's a lot of teeth.
Multiple rows of teeth.
It's like a carpet of teeth.
It is bad. It is horrifying. It's amazing what you can do with the design when you don't need to fit a guy in the pterodactyl suit.
We love animation.
Yeah. So Goro climbs into the Jet Jaguar mech and he fights the Rodan while Yoon saves the children. Jet Jaguar gets his arm ripped off and Goro climbs out of the cockpit. And then Yoon controls it with a tablet using pre-programmed moves, but it's not enough to beat Rodan. So he's like, all right, I'm going to reprogram it, but it's going to need a minute to reboot. We need to distract it. And so Goro hits the Rodan with a truck. And then Jet Jaguar reboots and it hits the Rodan. And then Rodan flies into the sky and then dies. Just drops dead. Everyone's like, oh, okay, cool.
Okay.
So Otaki Factory is famous now for fighting the Rodan. Jet Jaguar is busted because it fought a pterodactyl. So Yoon and Barbell decide to work on 3 yellow work robots as part of another gig. But then the hot goth secretary Satomi Kanahara walks in and tells them that Goro is ordering them to work more on Jet Jaguar.
The way that I cackled when she showed up. I was like, in episode 2.
It is, her design, she has visible tattoos along her neck. She has
she's like hyper alt.
Yeah, hyper alt. So she has pink hair. She has heavy eyeshadow. She has a lip piercing that is attached to a chain that is also attached to her ear. And she has other dangly earrings as well. She's wearing the red and gray jacket that the rest of the Otaku Factory people wearing, but like half of it is off to show off her tattoos and her black sports bra. She has like a thin black collar. Like she walks in, it's me like, whoa, hey.
It's crazy. She has such a distinctive, crazy design. And she's like a super minor side character. And I'm like, what the hell? Why isn't she seems so much more interesting and exciting than the 2 guys. Why isn't she like involved more?
And by the way,
it's just such a crazy character design to give to a side character.
And I introduced her as a secretary, but in my watching of this, it was not clear what relation she had with the Taki Factory.
I don't know that she was the secretary.
She just walks in and gives information. But it's like, whoa, what's going on with you? Hang on, what? Can we follow your adventures?
I know. I think she should split off and go join May. And maybe that's how May gets the Deus Ex AI.
Yeah.
Because I wish that she had created the AI that she uses.
Yeah.
Because the fact that she downloads it from the website and then like she doesn't even team up with these people like in that, like they're prevented from joining forces in episode 1. I don't know. I don't like that I wonder if maybe it would have been more fun, I think, to see them, and we do, spoilers, like technically Arakawa and May interact digitally. They're like IMing each other or whatever, but they also like don't know each other's identities.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. I don't know.
You can kind of see the working from the end to beginning where it's like, how do we introduce these characters? Well, what if she had the same AI that Yun had?
But they
and
could have
that's-
just met at the observatory.
Yeah, but they could have just met. There's a
Like,
lot of different ways they could have had this
and
dynamic
there are
turn out.
ways to. I do think it's fun when you have a character. This is not an uncommon, trope or device where you have two characters who have met online in online forums investigating similar things or whatever, and they only know each other digitally, and then they connect
Yeah.
in person later. And that's a fun thing because, we all have online friends. But it was so weird because it was like they almost did meet. And the only reason they didn't is because the police came. And the police just came because the writers decided that the police came. Like she literally called them. Like, I don't know. I kind of wish that maybe they were all together a little bit more because I didn't love them being separate. And them being separate could have worked.
Well, we haven't watched the whole series yet.
Yeah,
And
so
I
who
also
knows?
understand this is the type of plot, very Game of Thrones, where you're following a bunch of different characters in a bunch of different places, finding out a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that they're not all together all the time.
But they could split off.
Yeah. But you're right though. There's a lot of simpler ways to make that connection. It's just Pelops 2, the AI assistant, is going to be such a big part of May's character,
Mhm.
like her sidekick, and also doing a lot of stuff to push her forward in the plot. And it sucks that it's not her creation.
Yeah, it makes it, they're connected, but they're not. And it's like, at that point, they shouldn't have been. I almost wish that you didn't, like, the AI was her thing, and maybe they didn't almost meet at the observatory, but rather, like, started inching together from other sides of, the investigation to meet in the middle kind of a thing.
Mhm.
Like, one of the things that was so fun about Stranger Things season 1 is that everybody is investigating essentially the same mystery, but from different angles.
Mhm.
And then it's not until they all come together and put their pieces together that they realize the bigger picture of what's actually going on.
Yeah.
And the entire time, you have the fun thing of, like, they're all in the same town, like, passing each other by. Like, I mean, Mike and Nancy are living in the same house. 11 is in Nancy's basement the whole time, but she's so preoccupied with this other thing that she doesn't notice what's going on, and then it turns out it's all related. And but these are characters that know each other, and so you have, like, fun tension from that. But these are characters that are strangers, and then they, like, almost meet, but then she gets an AI from him without him, like, really knowing about it, and then they start IMing later, but they haven't met, and it just feels like a little weird.
Yeah, and again, it's Yoon did not give her the AI.
Yeah.
He just has it publicly available as a free download off of his work bio.
Because he's the tech guy, so he's the one that does the AI.
Yeah.
Except that she's, like, in a STEM degree, too, so I don't understand why she couldn't have developed her own AI. Or, again, like, it could have been something where they met, and then they're like, we're going to split up and go work on this, and then he's like, I'm going to give you this AI. And it could be kind of a fun like, it would be fun if they had a little bit more of a, because the AI has so much personality, and he's like, I'm going to give you the AI, and she's like, are you babysitting me, or you're trying to, like, maybe she's a woman in academia, and, like, she's like, well, I'm a graduate student, what are you, like, I don't know, like,
I want to say we're more forgiving of those plot elements in some of the more roller coaster Godzilla movies, except, Godzilla versus Kong. You tore a lot of that stuff out, and I'm just like, no, there's warp holes in the hollow earth. Let's move on.
Yeah.
But with this kind of show where it's like, we're going to be talking about all this different scientific stuff, and you need to be paying attention all the time, you're going to be missing all of these important plot details. It's like, okay, cool. If this is the thinking man's Godzilla, then I'm also going to be thinking about the plot elements.
Like, the thing about Godzilla versus King Kong is that it is very clearly from jump super pulpy and, like, silly sci-fi stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, fine, whatever. But yeah, I don't know. There's just I bumped on this. I bumped on the way that they have the characters moving around each other on this, and I wish that they had executed a little differently if they had been more separate from each other, and then instead of doing this whole thing where it's like they're kind of connected immediately but not really.
Well, I kind of like the suggestion of they were into similar things and they were already online friends, because that would show more of their personality.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is like, now that they're going through the plot, and they're investigating and they're expositing, like I said earlier, that sacrifices some of their personality traits. And so if we had a thing of like Yoon and Mei knew each other because they liked Pacific Rim type series, like maybe
Yeah.
Yoon was the giant robot guy and Mei was the giant monster girl, and they would
Mhm.
have discussions about it, that would be a very interesting way of showcasing their personalities
Yeah.
and their fields of study while also like immediately establishing this relationship without having to do the AI assistant
Yeah,
stuff.
relationships are a really great way to reveal character because the way that characters interact with each other help reveal their personalities, and the way that they interact with different characters reveal other aspects of their personalities. And it would be fun to have some conflict with these guys kind of bumping off of each other with disparate theories, and like, no, that's not happening, like, nitty gritty academics like nitpicking each other and getting into
Mhm.
arguments about their theories, and your hypothesis is stupid and this paper is totally wrong and blah blah blah. And
We get a little bit of that when Yoon and Mei start interacting in earnest in later episodes,
but it
but
also is all happening
over
like
text.
very quickly over text
Yeah.
with a bunch of distracting emojis that are happening on the screen
And
at the same time that you have to like read, and it's
we'll
just,
get into that. We'll get
yeah.
into that. So first off, the hot goth, Satomi, she tells the boys they need to work on Jet Jaguar because Goro believes that a whole flock of Rodan will soon appear. It's not just going to be one pterodactyl, it's going to be a bunch of them. And then she shows them the painting Mei was looking at in episode 1. Ah, shit, it's relevant. Which foreshadows the Rodans and also Godzilla, who is said to rise out of a red sea to bring the apocalypse. Yoon also discovers the Rodan was emitting radio waves that match the ones from the creepy mansion, and that's probably drawn to radio waves, which is probably why it destroyed the radio antenna and the neon sign. And so he starts working on a device to add to the moped to attract Rodans. Okay, cool. Exposition. Moving on. So more dead Rodans start appearing around Japan. They don't have stomachs. They don't have the homeobox gene found in every known multicellular organism, and they have the radioactive element radon. So everyone starts calling them that. Obligatory Rodan pronunciation note. In Japan, Rodan's pronounced radon, while in English, it's usually Rodan. I'm going with Rodan because that's what I'm familiar with, and that's how it's written out throughout the franchise.
Something
But,
like 80, according to our metrics, something like 80% of our audience is American. So
yeah, but that's a Gojira Godzilla thing.
Yeah.
Gojira Godzilla thing. So let's see, where was
there's
I?
also Rodan merch.
They start selling
which
Rodan merch.
I love that. Great detail.
Yeah, here's a bunch of dead pterodactyls that make no sense. Let's sell t-shirts.
Memes. Meme potential.
So back to May. Pelops 2 helps, in quotes, May publish a paper on transdimensional flying creatures, which catches the attention of computational chemistry expert Li Wei-ying, who asks May to come to Tokyo.
I'm just a humanities girl standing in front of a Godzilla anime, begging to understand what the fuck is computational chemistry. Why do I have to open up a Wikipedia page to watch a Godzilla anime?
According to this series, it's someone who finds theoretical molecules, but that can only exist in computer programs.
What? What do you mean? What?
So back to everyone's favorite character, Shunya, the guy at the observatory. He's looking through microfilm to research the dinosaur bones in the basement. He comes across records of the observatory's founder, a bearded man named Michiyuki Ashihara.
He looks haunted.
I'm going to refer to him by his last name because everyone in this series refers to him by his last name. So this is Ashihara. And so Shunya is going down that rabbit hole. And then we end episode 2 on Yoon and Barbell finishing the Rodan attractor just as a flock of 1,000 Rodans emerges from a red sea.
My contact moved behind my eye.
Because you were putting your hands to your face in exasperation too much?
Yeah. It's just one of them.
Do you need a minute?
No, just carry on. I don't need to read. Carry on, Kevin.
So episode 3, the Rodan flock descends upon Japan. Yoon, Barbell, and their boss Goro head off to attract the Rodans. Barbell twice.
Barbell twice to swerve.
Fuck off. Barbell tries to swerve around parked cars and he crashes, and Yoon hits his head on a metal railing and gets knocked out.
Get concussed,
Yeah.
boy.
So when Yoon wakes up, Goro is trapped in a bus with a high school student and the bus driver, while Yoon and Barbell hide in a small building off the road where another student and her teacher are hiding from the Rodans. There's a bunch of Rodans coming down and picking through the cars. It's a bad scene. But it turns out the students are archery athletes. So
There's a lot of, but luckily in this anime,
I think that's more of a thing in Japan, like having archery as an extracurricular.
yeah, no. I think it is. It's fine.
I feel like you could also do the same scene with like basketball athletes or football players or something like that. But I feel like
They don't have enough balls to beam them with basketball. What are they gonna do? They don't carry the basketballs with them in the bus.
Well, I'm saying this isn't like, oh, this is the perfect thing we need. It's like Yoon sees the tools he has around him
They
and
have
he comes
weapons.
up with a plan. But they don't do the obvious thing of, oh, maybe we can kill the Rodans with the bows and arrows. No, they're doing some creative.
It's fine. I understand. This might be something that is much more common in Japan. It's fine. But luckily, we have an AI.
Yeah, so Yoon comes up with a plan to cut holes in water bottles and attach them to the arrows that the students fire, and then that creates a whistling noise that distracts the Rodans, giving Yoon and Barbell an opening to get back on their moped and attract the Rodans away from everyone else. So meanwhile, May has been on a train watching the Rodan flock. Pelops 2, the publicly available AI assistant, like I said earlier, is able to hack into security cameras in the city to see if May's apartment is all right because she's worried about her laundry during this dinosaur apocalypse.
It is very funny, but I don't love a Deus Ex AI. I mean, maybe this AI will turn on them or something, but otherwise a Deus Ex AI like this is just, in my opinion, kind of lazy.
I mean, the thing is that so much of this series is taking cues from Godzilla versus Megalon. And as we covered in our earlier episode, a big part of that movie was just, oh, hey, the AI has become sentient. Let's not think about that.
Yeah. That's not what this movie is about. I'm like, but it feels like an interesting, like, wait, what?
And then Pelops 2 also hacks into one of the work robots at a Taki factory and takes remote control. So again, this is an AI, this is a different version.
Not only does this happen, then the goth is like, oh, hey, right? Like,
because she thinks it's Yoon taking control of the robot. And so she lets it out of the facility.
Yeah.
And then Pelops 2 is like, thank you. And then Satomi's like, oh, wait, huh? But the thing is, though, is that this is another level of how much of a bad idea having this publicly available AI assistant on your Squarespace website
who the fuck?
is.
What if a terrorist gets it?
Yeah. Well, it has your company credentials still, apparently. It knows what Ataki Factory is working on. It knows its gigs and its clients, and it's able to hack into your work and take one of your machines. This is so bad.
You can't have something like this going on and for us to not think of the deeper implications of it.
Especially in the Thinking series.
Yeah.
So Yoon and Barbell, they're on their moped. They're being chased by a full flock of Rodans. They're attracting them with their radio signals to basically just try to gather them all in one place and get them away from as many people as possible. That is one cool thing about Yoon's character, is that he is very brave and near suicidal in his courage as well. He will get into situations without any thought toward his own well-being. I do hope we get into why that is, but
he's crazy brave for like an everyman character.
Right. So one of the Rodans is about to run them off the road, and then Pelops 2 rides up in one of the work robots and takes out that Rodan. And then, as the full flock descends, they all suddenly die off, just like the first Rodan. Time passes. All the dead Rodan are collected. Their corpses give off a red sand, which Shunya, from the observatory, our favorite character, realizes is just like the red sand around the dinosaur bones in the basement. I think that's also a Godzilla versus Megalon reference, because they had that thing where the home intruders had that red dirt.
Oh,
and it
yeah.
turns out that was from the Hollow Earth civilization that controlled Megalon, and it meant nothing.
Yep.
So in Tokyo, because we have this whole other plot going on, Mei meets a charming freelance journalist named Takehiro Kai.
He's
who
a YouTuber.
I am going to steal his fit. He's wearing a red shirt, and over that is a Hawaiian shirt with like green palm fronds,
Mhm.
and then over that is a blue suit jacket. I'm stealing that.
Yeah, I know.
It's a great look.
It's a very Kevin look. It's a fun look. He's a fun character.
But yeah, he's blonde and he has the swoop of hair over one of his eyes and he's wearing sunglasses and he's a very cool guy and he gives a sample of archetype from Dr. Lee. Archetype is an experimental material she's working on, a previously theoretical molecule that she could only create in computer simulations. And the sample is a transparent cube with a flower inside, like a little resin cube holding this item
Yeah.
in. But as you turn the cube, the flower turns the opposite way. Whoa.
She could only make it previously in computer models and then found like a way to make it.
Yes.
Okay.
And we'll get into that in the next episode. So Yoon investigates what hacked into the yellow robot that saved his life and deduces it was another version of his AI assistant and does not question whether he should take it off of his work bio. So he gets into again, it's just
This sounds like an AI tech bro to me. I don't know what you're like.
Actually, no, you're entirely
like,
right.
I mean, considering how irresponsible some of these AI tech bros have been with their generative AI stuff that they're just letting loose into the world with very little guardrails or anything. I mean, yeah, sounds about right, actually, that he'd be like, I'm just going to put this thing on the internet. Isn't it cool? You definitely you can't use this to get the nuclear codes.
So this is how he gets into contact with May, though. And so the two compare notes, and a lot of their conversations are over a chat program with excessive emojis.
It's distracting.
It is very quick. And we will also hang on the chat message during these conversations for a while. And I'll get into why that is in the next episode as well, but it is weird. But then we end the episode on a shot deep within the ocean. A nuclear submarine floats along, followed by a giant creature expelling red dust. Once again, the Godzilla theme plays. We're going to get that a lot. So,
yeah.
That's episode 3. Kayla, what you think? What do you think so far? We aren't done yet.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of setup, not a lot of character. There's a lot of information being thrown at us, and it's hard to really catch what is super. Like I said, I had a difficult time kind of keeping up with this and what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh God, thank God Kevin does the summaries because I'm like, I don't know what happened.
It is a labor of love. It is so hard doing the summaries for this because there's so much going on.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is it feels like there's so much going on. And yet we're 3 episodes in. It's like, I really don't know that much about the characters. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, we're introduced to a lot of different characters. And first off, I have an idea of the tone of the series.
Yeah.
Because it's very clear what kind of series it's going for. It's very clear that there is a greater mystery at foot. And it's doing something that Junji Ito does in some of his like bigger works where there is a greater horror descending upon the world that so many people have no idea what to do with and they're investigating.
It's a
and
mystery
trying to make
box
it make sense.
show.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's fine, but I have a lot of distrust of mystery box stories because a lot of the times it's very difficult to actually land what the mystery box is. And to me, I'm just like, well, if the mystery box kind of like the characters can sort of redeem that. I'm a very character focused person. Whatever's going on here, I like when it's tied very much I don't know. I don't feel like these characters are really making that strong. Like their designs are very cool, but
That's
they
the
aren't
thing.
making a very strong impression on me. And their motivations are like, oh, we're investigating this thing, but it's like, what are their flaws? Like what's getting in their way? Like what's impeding them? What are their goals truly? Like
There's not a lot of friction between these characters.
no, there's not a ton of they're just like trying to figure out what this whole mystery thing is, and they're just following. It feels like a video game where it's like you're just kind of following the clues and you're trying to unlock everything, which is fine when you are playing a video game because and you're playing kind of a self-insert character that doesn't have a lot of personality because it's like it's just you investigating this thing, you know? But for a TV show, I don't like it. This could have been a really cool video game, I think.
I'm immediately imagining the opening scene where Yoon goes into the mansion and then it like stops and you have your little cursor go over the points of interest and then like you hover over the bookshelf and you press X and then you press X and then Yoon is like, oh, there's all these different topics on the bookshelf. This person must have been studying quite a few different things.
Yes.
Like, that kind of expository, investigative writing would work well in like a Phoenix Wright type of video game or something like that. You're right.
Like this feels to me like a video game plot. And that would have been so cool, like a Godzilla Singular Point video game. Like imagine all of this happening and it's like you're flipping between these different characters.
Mhm.
You get to pilot the mech.
Yeah.
And then you have to do like, you know, a computer investigation thing and you have to do investigative reporting and get the right like flow of questions or whatever to get the answers you need. And if you don't, like, you don't get those answers and you have to double back later or do something else.
Or during the first Rodan fight where you have the bit where Yoon is controlling it through the tablet and he's like, oh, I have to reprogram it. That would be the perfect time for like a mini game.
Yeah, that could all work. But with TV, you need to have strong characters.
Yeah.
You just do. And these characters don't feel very strong. And there's not a lot of other conflicts or subplots that are carrying us, making us like invested in them and carrying us through this. And it's just constantly a lot of like, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? But it feels like we're not getting a lot of answers. And like, can we get like a little bit of answers to keep us going, you know? Because otherwise I'm just like, what am I, like, there's so many threads to follow of all of these unanswered mysteries. It's like, eventually at some point you kind of need to answer something. And then maybe that could lead to another question. Like, oh my God, this opens up another question or something, you know?
I think a microcosm of what we're feeling is the introduction of Satomi, who is the hot goth at Otaki Factory. She walks in, incredibly distinct visual design.
Yeah.
No inherently clear dynamic in her interaction with Yoon and Barbell. There's no friction. There's no like quipping. There's no like talking about stuff they've done in the past.
She just shows up to tell them, stop working on this and start fixing Jet Jaguar, which I'm like, why weren't they fixing Jet Jaguar to begin with?
Exactly. It's like if this is your if this is your role right now, especially in your introductory scene, why do you have such a strong visual design?
Why are you here? Like, truly, she shows up to tell them to fix Jet Jaguar instead of working on other things. But it's like, I don't understand why they didn't just start fixing Jet Jaguar to begin with. If that's like a major project for them that just got broken, like, why wouldn't they just start fixing it? Oh, they have these other robots that they need to fix for a client. Yeah, because the writer made it so that there's these other robots that they're working on. It's like, that didn't have to be there. They could have just started fixing Jet Jaguar. And then she's there to let the other work robot out. The one that the AI that Pelops 2 hacks, she's there to let that guy out. Well, why couldn't Pelops 2 just let itself out? What if the door was automatic and it just let itself out? Like she's not doing anything, and yet she is this crazy, interesting looking character, which signals to the audience of like, pay attention to her. But then she doesn't do anything. And it's like, that's kind of a lot of what's going on in this is like, look at this, pay attention to this. And then it like doesn't really do anything, you know. And if they had a greater economy of characters, then they could develop them more.
And that's why I keep joking about Shunya, our favorite character, because he has a very boring design. He wears a suit. He has a bowl cut haircut. He is generic background man.
We're not meant to care about him, but
he's in the OP.
Yeah,
like there's a lineup of 5 characters, and he's one of them. And we keep cutting to him for all of this
because he has the dinosaur bones.
Because he has the dinosaur bones. but he's not interesting visually. He does not have a personality, and it's like why do we keep cutting back? Anyway, okay.
Because he has the dinosaur bones.
Because
It's
he has
just
the
like,
dinosaur
well,
bones.
why doesn't he let's pump him up a bit? Like
I will say
everything writing is a series of choices. You are making choices over and over and over again to convey information and emotion to an audience. Everything that they're doing is deliberate. But I don't know what the reasons behind any of it are because there's not a lot of like payoff happening in terms of, oh, this character is important and we're following them because they're delivering like this essential information. Because there are characters that exist so that the plot can progress.
Mm-hmm.
For example, to go back to Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, since we've already brought it up.
Since we already brought
and
it up.
I feel confident that a lot of our audience has watched it. These are very mild spoilers. I won't get super into it, but you'll know what I'm talking about. There's a character that can control fire, Roy Mustang. Crucially, he needs a spark. He can't just ignite fire. He needs a spark to then control fire. He has friction gloves that can create sparks, like little matches on his fingers. There's another character in his squad who is an avid smoker, so he always has a lighter on him. We get to a point where Roy's disarmed, basically, and he has no way to create fire, except that guy has a lighter. And suddenly now he can make a spark and light, like it allows him to make a spark in that situation. Arakawa said Gene Havoc is a smoker because Roy Mustang needs a spark in that moment for plot, like to progress. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's great. Gene also does a lot of other things in the story because Arakawa is really great with economy of character and making sure that everybody that is introduced has a significant role to play. But, like, that's fine. Like, you can do stuff like that. Except that then you have characters that really actually don't need to exist because the stuff that they're doing isn't actually progressing the plot. Like, the goth character doesn't, so far, maybe she does something later on, but so far she doesn't need to exist. Because she's not really doing anything that the other characters need her to do. Like, there's no reason that there couldn't have been another thing going on here. They just wanted her to exist. They wanted this cool character design, but then they didn't give her anything to do, which is sad. But again, maybe we're only in the first 3 episodes. Maybe she'll do something later. I hope to God.
Well, I will say this. I'm very happy about the reintroduction of Jet Jaguar. I love what they've done with the design. I love it's actually like a mech that you go into the chess cockpit in order to work on. Yeah,
it's a cool redesign.
I love Goro's obsession with like, I am an old man who believes that the world will need to be saved with a giant robot. And everyone's like, okay, old man. And it turns out he's right.
He's right.
That's always a fun character dynamic. Jet Jaguar also appears in the mecha crossover video game Super Robot Wars Y, which I love. That's a little fun fact I wanted to throw in there. So we're going to be going over the next few episodes of Godzilla Singular Point.
Wait, what? Sorry.
Oh, you just read the other
I just read the other fun fact.
Yeah, I was about to lead into that.
Oh, now I'm mad.
See, this series is very complicated and there's a lot of smart stuff, a lot of different storylines going on. But according to the Godzilla Singular Point fan book, an early stage idea for the series was Godzilla fighting samurai in feudal Japan. Why has that not happened yet?
That would have been so
70
cool.
years of the franchise and we haven't done the obvious idea?
Yeah, I mean, America makes shit about... We have a movie called Cowboys versus Aliens, and yet Japan hasn't done samurai versus Godzilla?
Right?
Like...
It's so weird.
That feels crazy to me.
But we're not going over that pie in the sky idea. No, we're going over Godzilla Singular Point. What will we be going over next, Kayla?
Next, we'll be watching episodes 4, 5, and 6 of Godzilla Singular Point, which is unfortunately not about samurai fighting Godzilla. If you like this podcast, be sure to subscribe, give us a rating, leave a comment, and share with a friend. Follow us on social media. We got the links in the show notes. We also have a Ko-fi. You can support us there and get access to cool bonus content like extra episodes and access to the private Discord, where you can talk with other geeks about Godzilla and all things Digital Kaiju. Check it out! Gorilla Whale is a production of Digital Kaiju Studios. It is hosted and produced by Kevin Carpenter and Kayla Knutson. Gorilla Whale has no official affiliation with Toho, Legendary, or any other companies associated with the Godzilla franchise. We thank you for watching along with us. Until next time, watch out for kaiju
Watch out for kaiju.
and the AI.